everybody, we're back in the studio. Thanks for coming and stopping by. Today we are going to do something a little like fall-like. I figure that since the weather is starting to get a little cooler, it's not as hot right now, this would be a good painting. It's not officially the end of summer for the date-wise, but I am noticing that the temperatures are cooler. So what we're going to do, we're starting out with a 16 by 20 canvas. And my first pigment on the palette is Burnt Umber. And I have a number 12 Simmons, excuse me, Simmons brush. And we're going to do the entire canvas with this Burnt Umber. Now, what I'm going to do is speed this up because, you know, who cares to see me put all this paint on the canvas. So through this next segment, you'll just not hear me talking. All right, I'm going to start and just apply it. So we have our background, it's dry, and I've sketched the pumpkins on the canvas. And I'm going to start out with a number, let's see if I have a 12 bright. I believe this is a number 12, and I think this is definitely, yes it is, a 12 bright. We're going to go into our chrome orange, which is actually, I just have cad orange. And we're going to start on our left side. So we just want, when we do this, we want to kind of go in the direction of the actual pumpkin. And we're painting in that direction. Now we'll probably have to, because this orange is kind of transparent, we're probably going to have to do it a couple of times. I'm also going to put some Burnt Umber on my palette. That's the Utrecht Burnt Umber. If I can open it. There we go. So we're going to put some of that in some of these areas here where it needs to be a little darker. And I just have two colors right now on my palette. If you can see, I have my orange and my Burnt Umber. So we're just following the pattern of a pumpkin. You just want to kind of like, now some of your lines are going to disappear, and that's okay. You like that shadow effect from the underpainting. And then I'll have all these colors, and where you can purchase them on Amazon in my information. That sort of helps me and you both, if you decide to buy from Amazon. I like Amazon only because I can get it quicker. You know, you don't have to wait around for your paints to come like in some of the other places. They might be a couple dollars more, but you get it in a couple of days. So that's what makes it nice. Now, I'll wipe out my brush, add a little bit more of the orange here, just kind of like blending that in. Oops. I hope my head isn't in the way. I always put my head in the way no matter which way I have my camera. It's funny. Okay. So just kind of go over that a little bit. Add it back in there because I don't want to lose that line or that shadow. It's very important. As I said, the bright is a good brush to get the paint right into the canvas, which you want. And it sort of helps blend in some of that underneath painting that we have. Maybe I'll just stick a little one right here. The little shadow as it goes over to the other side. Wipe out my brush to blend. And I want this to be a little darker here too. Now this is a very easy painting. There's not too much difficulty in this. And you'll have the actual painting to go by, I mean the drawing to go by, so that'll be posted on Pinterest and my website. Okay, so we have the first one in. Now I'm going to add a little bit of highlight on there, and I'm going to get my cad yellow, which is a Grumbacher cad yellow. And like I said, I use all different kinds of paints, so depending on what I'm doing. This one here is a medium. And I'm going to rinse out my brush a bit. So now I have the three colors on my palette. I'm going to go into that yellow with my number 12 and just kind of like highlight the top part of this. Now you're kind of almost dry brushing this. You just want to get a little glaze on top. Just drag it down, drag it down. And I'm just dragging it. Oops. Just want to get this off of here. There we go. All right. Now, let's do the green pumpkin over here. This is going to be green. So we're going to have this orange pumpkin. We're going to have a white one in the middle. And I have a little spider drawn here too. I wanted to put a little spider in just for the holiday Halloween. I do apologize. I seem to always get that doggone hoarseness. And unfortunately I can't control that because it's part of my issues with my thyroid and my esophagus. Blend this a little bit better. So I hope that everybody's doing well today. We've had so many tragedies lately with the weather, the people in Houston. I send out my love and to those in Florida as well, and all the people that have had lost their homes throughout the Virgin Islands and Cuba. I just hope that everyone's safe and they're still living. You know, there's some lives that have been lost, and it's unfortunate when these things happen. So, sending out my love and thoughts and prayers to all those people. So we're going to go into our chromium green oxide. I'm going to put that on my canvas, my palette. And we are going to do the same thing with this one, just like we did with that. This is a pretty quick and easy painting, so we'll probably won't have a 3-hour paint, but you never know. You know, once I get talking, I can ramble on. So now I have, this is my palette so far. I've got the orange, I've got the umber, yellow, cad yellow, and now green oxide on my canvas. On my palette. On my canvas, I only have the chrome orange and some yellow and burnt umber. So once again, follow the direction of the pumpkin. Follow the direction of the pumpkin while you're painting. Move that over so you can see what I'm doing, I hope. Yes. Can you see me too? I guess you can, huh? All right. I'm not one of a camera, like to be on camera too much. But I sure do love to paint. And I love showing people how to do it. I've taught several years in different places and just really enjoyed seeing how other people paint and how creative people can be. It's very interesting. And I thank my fellow artists who have been filming on YouTube, because that's what inspired me to do it. Never knowing that YouTube was such a great place to learn things. So I'm going to put a little brown through here just to get that now this is the oxide is a little bit more it's not as transparent, so you will see that you don't see any of the brown coming through, so as we did on here with the orange, because that was a little bit more transparent. This is more opaque. And that, you know, those are your different colors. It's just the way they're made. So I'm just going to blend this lightly. And I'm going to put some more of that yellow on the tops, just like I did on this one. Just kind of like give it a little bit of pizzazz. Just dry brushing now. I don't have that much paint on my brush, and just pulling it down. If you push too hard, you'll have it disappear, so you don't want that. Whoops, I got the wrong color. I don't know what I did there. Whoa, that's even way too much. I don't know where I came up with that. Let me just fill that in a little bit more. Get back into my umber here. Just come over here, get that in there. Oh, I keep picking up the brown here, but that's okay because that'll give it a little bit of texture. I'm going to get a little bit more yellow on my palette. And we're going to dry brush here a little bit, just a little bit. Might not show up too well on this side because it's a little wetter over here because I put that big blob in, so we can always come back. Just blend it down. Get some of that brown to make it look more natural, like it's a real divot in the pumpkin. Actually, I might even make that a little darker. Let's see here. Just come down like that. And same over here. I'm gonna come down a little bit more and just blend it out into the pumpkin. A little bit of showing some depth in our pumpkin. Even over here, I think I'm going to get this a little bit and just kind of like bring it in a little. Let's see. Now that it's a bit dry, we can just kind of make this a little shadowy. Some orange. Grab a little bit more of this. Everywhere you see a dark, you want to add a little bit of light to it because that's what kind of pops it out. So, because this is dark, we want to get some light around it. Where there's dark, we have to add light. So any place that it's shadowed, you want to add a little bit of light to the part of the next right by it to give it that little bit of pop. I'm going to mix a little bit of my yellow with my oxide. I want to get a lighter green. Not that much, but just kind of like to pull it around here. Just to kind of give it that pop that I'm looking for. Okay. Put a yellow up in here and get that pop right in by it. Drag it down. And actually add some that darker shade coming from the bottom, because pumpkins would be darker at the bottom as a shadow, so we have to get that shadow in there. So I'm just adding some of the brown, the burnt umber, just following the contour of my pumpkin. I'm going to do that over here as well, just to get that contour. Contour the pumpkin. And boy, I have some green in there. That's nice. That's okay, because you know sometimes these pumpkins aren't right ready, and they may have a little green in there. So I'm going to leave that in just for a little fun. Okay. Now I think we have a nice looking pumpkin there and one right here. Now, our next pumpkin, we are going to get some raw sienna. And my raw sienna is a Winsor Newton. It's a lighter shade. I'm going to throw that on my palette. It's quite light. You want to see how that is? Okay. I'm going to have a little sip of my coffee. I like the way this is shaping up so far. I hope you do too. Still using my number 12. And I rinsed it out, and I'm going into my raw sienna. Now this is kind of transparent as well. So I want to add a little white to that. So my white here is the Deco Art Premium Art Acrylic. It now comes in tubes. It's quite reasonable, and it's pretty good. I like it. I've been using a couple of the shades here, so yeah, I want to get this a little lighter. This pumpkin's almost white. Well, that's a little too white. You see, I'm making my strokes go the same way as the pumpkin would be, like that texture of the pumpkin. Try to go in the same directions. We're going to go over here. Here. Yesterday, I met with my grandson's art teacher. I don't know if, you know, either your children or your grandchildren have a good art program, but the school that my grandson goes to, it's phenomenal. The art instructor is just amazing. And last year, I was lucky enough to see some of the work that the kids did. They have like an art exhibit every year, and I was so impressed by it. And so my daughter's on the PTA, and she asked me if I would like to chair the committee to work with him and you know, do fundraisers so that he can get some equipment and things like that when he does his art exhibit, and help. He needs some help getting it set up and things like that. And I said I would love to, because I just thought he was amazing, you know. And that art room is phenomenal. If you would see his art room, I mean, when I went to school, I didn't have things like that. I had a room that was downstairs, I believe. It had no light. There was no such thing as having a good lighting for art. And I think I had one teacher that was really creative, and I really liked her. And but you know, what we did was basically draw. We didn't do anything that was creative like what he's doing. I mean, he's teaching them about different artists and different ways to do things. I mean, and they actually do filming too. They have a little TV show, and he does that animation with them. I mean, they learn so many things, and this is just a great school. So I'm really happy that my little grandson gets to go to that school. Now I want to put a little bit of light, very light, a little bit lighter, like how I highlighted these pumpkins. I'm going to do that with some of the raw sienna and white. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of raw sienna and white, and I'm just going to come in here and highlight. Highlight certain areas. The top. Might even use a little bit more white. There we go. Just dry brushing, hardly no paint on my brush. That's what, and you're just pulling it lightly. You're not pressing into the canvas. You're just going very lightly. And I'm going to get some of that burnt umber. Just come up around here a little bit with that. kind of get that. Wow, that looks really nice. Love it. Okay, just take this away here. I want to get this down in here a little bit better. Okay. Okay, so what do you think so far? Not bad. It's really cute. Very nice. Okay, so I want to do the stems now. And, well, let's see. Maybe I'll get the background in. That might be a better idea. Get the background in. And we're going to do this top part here. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix raw sienna and some titanium white, and we're going to do the top part. The raw sienna is what I was just using. I'm going to get my brush clean and just add a little bit of white to that. You want a little bit darker, but you want a little darker than I guess our pumpkin. So I'm going to just kind of like go lightly, and I'm going to make some crisscross strokes here. This is how I mixed it. So just doing some crisscross strokes. You still want some of that texture, and I just crisscross, just go back and forth because I want the texture. And in the areas where my leaves are, I might use a smaller brush to get into that detail. But if I can just get some of this in here. Just checking to make sure that my camera's still working. Okay, now as some of this is drying, I'm seeing some areas I want to kind of change a bit. Whoops. Well, I'll do that after. We'll get this top part done. Let's get this. So I'm just kind of like I said, I'm just kind of scruffing the paint on. Probably put another coat though, Doc, because this doesn't look too swift. But I'm going to have to go in with a little bit more of a detailed brush. And I think I'm going to mix a little bit more of my raw sienna and white. And pull the white into that. Make it lighter. A little bit more texture going here. Oops, just went over my area that I didn't want to go over. Sally, where are you going, my little doggy? Sally, stay in here with me. Where are you going, Sally? Huh? Where are you going? I think I might want to put a little bit more umber into this also, because this is almost the same color as the pumpkin here. So I think what I want to do is kind of darken it up down here a little bit. Where are you going? Huh? I have so much here. My dog can't. I'm doing a craft show. Try to sell some of my paintings here. It's unfortunate that in Pittsburgh, there's only a few artists that really make a big sales around here. So, okay. So, I've got things strung out all throughout my studio. So I'm still using my bright number 12. I'm going to paint over my spider. Sorry, spider, but I have to paint over you. We'll put that back in. Okay, now I'm going to get a smaller bright. This is a number, oh, I don't know, it's all covered up, but it looks like about a 4. And I'm just going to get into the details here. Around my leaves that I have in here. And I'll probably speed this part up for you guys so that you don't have to sit there and watch me do this background. I mean, basically just following my drawing here. So I'm going to speed this up, and we'll be back soon. All right, so we're working around here, and let's see, gotta get something here. Right there. And through here, that's decent. Let's make that a little darker around us here, just a tad. Okay. Okay, and we're going to get around here now. I'm just doing a few touch-ups now. Just kind of like painting over some of this and trying to blend it a little bit better. Little dry brushing, kind of getting these a little bit rounder looking instead of flat. I don't like a flat looking painting. Let's get a little bit more highlights here. A little bit more pop it out some more. Okay. So our next step, we're gonna go into our leaves and our top part, and I'm going to go into my umber. Add a little water to that because it is a little dry right now because it's been sitting here for a bit. Just add a little water to it. I'm going to redo these leaves. I want them to be nice and dark. So I'm looking at my picture. I want to see what I have here. Just to kind of give it a little bit more of the darkness. And I'm just using that flat, or that, it's a bright, I think it's a number 4 Utrecht brand paintbrush, and I love these brushes. I got these, I was actually taking a class at the community college, and okay, now I'm just filling in the leaves and making them nice and dark, and I'm also doing the stems dark. So painting those in with my number 4 bright. Okay, so we have those put in. just I put those in for now, and I am going to put my little string in for my my spider. Now I'm going to use some black for that, and I have a little bit of a it's kind of a little wetter. It's Mars Black. A little bit more flowy, I should say. I think it's a little more flowy. So I put a little dab of that on my canvas, my palette. I always want to call it a canvas. And I'm going to get a very small detail brush. This is a number 2, round. And I'm going to go into my black and try to get my spider in here. Okay, so we're just going to come down straight. Oh, maybe a little crooked here. A little crooked, but that's okay. Spiders don't come down straight, I'm sure. I think it needs a little bit more water. Now when I do this, I put the water in there and make it very wet and roll my paintbrush so I get the nice point. You want a nice point on your brush. There we go. And I'm going to add a little white to this to glisten it. Now I'm going to draw him in again. So we're just going to keep using this. Just a little body right here. It's a big black spider. Something like we've always seen in our homes, right? Everybody has seen a big black spider. This to come out. This touching. We have this coming out and this side coming out down. Do not press heavy. That's the key to doing these little light lines. Do not press heavy. This one coming up here like that. So there's our big black spider. And we're going to kind of glisten that up a bit with some white. So it looks sort of like a little silk web coming down here. Okay. Little glisten. All right, so now let's see what we can do with our leaves here. I want to use my oxide and some yellow. So I'm going to get some more yellow out on my palette. We're almost done. We're almost done with this painting. It's coming along quite nicely. And instead of using a bright for this, I think I'm going to use a filbert. Let's see how this works. So I want to put some green on one side of my brush and yellow on the other, just like 1 and 1. And we'll just kind of color it in here. We have our line that comes down like this. Okay. Oh, my yellow isn't even coming through. Okay. There we go. Just kind of bring the leaves to come down into the center. See how this works. I'm not sure I like that. All right, so let's see here. Need a nice flat. Let's try this one. Okay, now this is a flat. This is a number 12. Oh, it's a bright. I'm sorry. I'm going to put, you know how they do the Donna Dewberry? Okay, that's what we're going to do with this. So I have part of my brush oxide green, the other part yellow. And yellow, you can use anything, you know, whatever color you want. So I worked it in. I've definitely got the two colors. Okay, so we're just going to kind of like do like this. Okay. Let's do it this way also. And we have that little bit of which kind of makes it look nice. And then we're just going to kind of put a little stem in there. Maybe come down a little bit more with that. Let's get that stem in there. Okay. Do the same thing with this one. Back and and forth. Okay. You want to have that brown show through. Okay, so it would come, I don't know, this way. Okay, let's get that out there a little bit more. Okay, and put our stem in there again. Kind of looks kind of neat. Okay, now we got that big one up there. We're going to get some more of the oxide and yellow. Maybe we'll go with this one with the green on the outside instead. Okay, bring that yellow through, or that green. Get some of that yellow in there instead of green here. A little more yellow in here. Okay, that's good. I don't want to mess with it. Maybe I could get more yellow by doing the dip here again. There we go. Okay. Now let's get our stem. Just get some green in there. A little bit more green on this one. Green on this one. Then we'll get some yellow in there also. Then we have to get our little squigglies in, our little squigglies. And I'm just using my filberts and just kind of drawing those lines in. Pulling them up. Because if you see when you see a pumpkin, it has those ridges, and that's what you want to get in there, those ridges on the stem. Okay, I want to put a little bit more highlights on top here. So I'm going to go into my yellow, kind of dry brush, and then just pull it down. Pull it down in there. There. Maybe on this one also, the green one, need some more highlights up at the top. There we go. All right, now we're going to do our little squigglies. Same process. Don't know. Let's see here. What I want. Okay, let's see. Well, let's see. I think our brown would probably make a nice little squiggly. So I'm doing the same thing that I did with the black spider, rounding it up, put some water in there, and I'm going to just see here what I'm doing. Oh, okay, so they're a little bit lighter. No brown. All right. Let me get some of my raw umber mix. Get some white in, some water in there so it's nice and liquidy. Nice and liquidy. And Now when I do this, when I do a squiggly, I hold my brush back here. I don't hold it up here. Don't want to draw it. I want it to flow easy. Now I'm just going to start right here. Okay. Now I'm going to have to go back over this again because some of it got messed up. I lost it. Okay. All right. We'll just make it like that. I'm not happy with that. You happy with that? Let me wipe that off. Let me see if I can get that off. Sometimes squigglies don't want to work the way you want them to, so you got to do it again. I don't think I had this wet enough. So let me get some of my orange again. Put it right in there. So wipe some of it off. Okay. All right. So let's try the squiggly again. I'm going to wet it with some water. I have a spray bottle actually this time. Wet it. We want it to be pretty wet. It's like an ink-like consistency. I'm going to roll my brush. Let's see if I can do it. Start from here. Okay, there we go. Much better, much better. Okay, so this one we want to have, it's kind of greenish and yellow. So let me get my white, my same brush, didn't rinse it, just making the mixture light and wet. All right, we're gonna do this one coming over this way. A little bit lighter in here. Okay. And this pumpkin doesn't have it, but I do have to get, the leaf comes down and around like that. Kind of strange leaf. Maybe we should just have it a little bit like that. And even though it doesn't have a squiggly, I'm putting one in because I think it just helps to make it a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Around, a little bit more water in my mixture, a little bit more, comes up from here and round. Let me get that a little bit wetter. You know that if it's too dry, it won't go right. So I'm holding it back. There we go. Too dry. There we go. And just make a little curl up. And there you have it. So we can sign our painting. I am going to use, let's see. My white pen works. I will use my white pen. It's not working. Oh, go. I think it's coming out now. Just a minute. Yeah, my pens are kind of dry. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to sign right here. Now I normally, I think I've told you before, that I sign my paintings with just my initials. I don't put Pittsburgh Artist or any of that kind of thing on there. I just sign my initials, MD. I find that that's just the best for me. But it depends on what you want to do as far as signing it. You know, you can put it in the corner, that corner, this corner. You can write your name, you know, if you want to put it anywhere that you want. And I guess that's the painting for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope that you subscribe and like and comment on below. And if you can't support me, all I'm asking is $1 per video as you watch it, and that's on Patreon or GoFundMe, any site that I have. And if you buy the supplies that I list from Amazon, I get something for that too, because I'm like I said, they are expensive, and you know that as well. This is one of the most expensive things you can do as an artist. You know, you can buy the cheapest paints to start, but then as you get better, you want to, you know, use better paints. So hopefully we can work together in the future, and this journey is ours. So until next time, bye.